Today on Community Uplift, how do you recover from the loss of a child to gun violence? Plus, Prince George's County has some amazing students doing some really big things. Stay tuned because that's our topic for today. Hello, I'm Tony Lee, and welcome to Community Uplift. According to the Gun Violence Archive in 2015, 13,000 people were killed in the United States by the use of firearms, while 27,000 were injured or to the loss of a child for many reasons. Anytime you lose one, it's painful enough. When it's the result of gun violence, the weight can seem insurmountable. With every new headline about bullets killing people, it's a burden that can often be overlooked. It's one thing to hear the news or the story of someone being shot and killed across the country, but when it happens so close to home, emotions are that much more intense. Just a few short months ago, Ayanna McAllister, an 18-year-old freshman in college and graduate of Largo High School here in Prince George's County, Maryland, was murdered while home on spring break. And while her body was laid to rest back in March, the pain of her friends and family is still very fresh. Joining me today are Ayanna McAllister's parents, Anthony and Tyrese McAllister. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony, here is the question that I want to pose to you. The entire community was devastated by the sudden loss of your daughter. How have you been able through this process, and how is your family doing?
Well, Brother Lee, through our faith in God, we've been able to continue to move forward. We have a 20-year-old daughter who was along with Ayanna when she was murdered, and we really have to be parents for her. We definitely suffer. We go through a lot at night. We lean on each other and lean on our faith, and through those situations of faith and family, we just continue to make it. Every day is different. Every emotion you can think of, we feel those emotions, and every morning when I wake up, I know it's a different emotion, and I'm sure my wife can attest to that. And so we just continue to move forward as a family. We love on each other. We continue to stay focused with our church family, continue to move forward with our fraternity and sorority organizations, and those are pillars of strength for us in the community.
What do things stand right now in terms of the case? What are the police telling you?
Well, they have some leads, but they can't really share a lot with us. They have reached out to us each week to let us know that they don't have anything definite, but that they're working on it and they're committed to working on it. Chief Newsom has given us a call personally and just shared his devastation. He shared that he has daughters as well, and that he promised that he would stay on this case and see it through.
What formal ways have you all established to honor Ayanna's memory?
One of the things that we have established is a Ayanna McAllister Legacy Foundation, and that's through a GoFundMe. I think the website will be posted a little later in this segment. I think my wife will speak a little more to that, because one of the things that she wanted to do to honor our daughter is something that is near and dear to her heart, and it would be the fashion show that we will be doing on a yearly basis, and I'll let her share that.
So in addition to the GoFundMe site, because we're a family that believes in education, and we know as educated people ourselves that education often deters kids from acting out from violence and living hopeless lifestyles. So we want to be able to help other young people have an opportunity or have a better opportunity to get and stay in school. In order to do that, in order to keep the foundation going, we are going to have a couple of fundraisers. One of the fundraisers we're going to have, and it'll be next year, Mother's Day weekend, is a big fashion show. Ayana loved fashion. Anybody who knows her knows she was a fashionista. So I figured that was a good way to honor her memory and her legacy. Also assist some other young kids with an opportunity to go to school. We have some smaller fundraisers, like even just tonight, Rita's on 8th Street is allowing us to do a fundraiser and get a portion of the proceeds. So every Thursday this month, they've allowed us to come out, pass out flyers, and they'll donate a portion of the proceeds to Ayana's foundation. And we'll have a few more smaller fundraisers, but the fashion show, Mother's Day weekend, will be our larger signature event.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more about Ayana? Who was she and where was she headed as a young woman in college?
Ayana started out in Christian school, Christian education, and then she transferred. Her and her sister urged us to transfer from Christian school to go to public school so they could go to school with the neighboring kids. And we allowed that. Both of our daughters were very popular girls, very bright girls, very energetic. They had lots of friends. They're both caring girls. One example is during Thanksgiving, they were coming home from college and they brought one of their friends from school home who was a foster kid. The weekend Ayana got killed, she was home on spring break and she had brought her roommate home. So our kids were constantly, just the life of the party, always wanting to bring people home and share. They realized, I believe, especially when they got to college, that they had a lot more than a lot of other kids, and they wanted to share what they had. So we are, as a family, we've always assisted other young people, and we've always had a house full of other people's children helping them, and I think our girls wanted to keep that legacy going. I don't think they thought of it as a legacy, but certainly they were many social workers.
And I will add that she was a criminal justice major at St. Augustine's University, which is my alma mater. Very outgoing young lady, very well liked on campus. A lot of administrators that are there are folks that I went to school with, and so she had attached herself to a lot of folks that are my friends, and they really spoke very highly of what she was doing in college.
As parents, you guys did everything you could do to protect your children. What advice would you give to those parents in the metropolitan area when it comes to dealing with the threats that our children face every day?
I think that, a lot of parents really do the right things with their kids. I mean, you want to know where they are at all times. You want to know the friends that they're hanging around. And you want to stay in touch with them. And I think the biggest thing I can say is just continue to love on your kids. Continue to know where they are at all times if you can. Social media is big with kids, and so you just have to get in there and know where they are, use the tools that are at your hand, and just stay in touch with your kids and just continue to have open dialogue with them so that they can always be open and honest with you. And I think we did a great job in doing that. And I think my wife used the term safeguards. We put a lot of safeguards in place. We had our home secured so that we would know when they came home from school, and just always wanted to know where they were and really open ourselves to the friends that they had so they would be comfortable with us. So I would say to parents, just continue to be open and honest with your kids and have that dialogue.
I think in a different way, I don't really think you can protect your kids, because if you could protect your kids, we did everything that our child should still be alive. Like, we did everything that you could think of. What I will say is that I'm really glad that we raised Ayana up in a Christian household. So despite the violence going on around us, that we're secure that she's in heaven, because she knew God. She knew God for herself. We worshiped as a family every Sunday together. So I'm at least comforted in knowing that.
Can you tell us about the birthday celebration that you had on June 10th in honor of Ayana, and what was that like?
Well, Ayana would have turned 19 on June 10th. So what we wanted to do was go to the community where she was shot and offer something for the community. Like Anthony said, and Deja was with Ayanna when she got shot. And the one thing that disturbed her, other than her sister getting killed, was that there were little kids in that community riding their bike, hanging out, just, you know, going to and from. And so because we don't know who killed Ayanna, we're certain that she wasn't targeted intentionally. So what that says is the violence in the community could strike anybody. So we wanted to do something in the community, one, to encourage people. If you know something, say something. Not just about Ayanna's murder, but this can happen again. This time it happened to us. It can happen to anyone at any time again, because we don't know who did it. We don't know if somebody was just randomly shooting, was somebody targeting someone else. We don't know. So we wanted to bring together the community. Chief Newsom offered his support. His office assisted us. So we had cotton candy machine. Rita's offered Italian ices. We had a lot of members from our church, sorority and fraternity members, and our families to come out and support the event on Ayanna's birthday. And then we also went back to my home and had sort of a cookout just to honor her. And I think it was probably more for our family because her 19th birthday certainly was a sad occasion because she's not here to celebrate herself. Because one of the things that we did when the kids were growing up is we always had fabulous birthday parties. Mm-hmm. So I know Ayanna would have enjoyed to actually have been at this party, but that was the thing that the McAllister girls were known for. Everybody wanted to invite to their birthday party.
And one of the things that we did on that day is we donated a rose bush for the complex to plant in memory of her. So anytime that we go in that area or anyone goes there, there will be something to remember her there.
Well, we certainly want to thank you. You have our love and our support. Anthony and Tyrese McAllister, thank you so much for being on the show today. We appreciate you. God bless you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Don't go away, because we will be back with you with more Community Uplift.
I'm here. Can you see me? Because I feel like I'm invisible. Like this whole place is invisible. If it weren't for the nightly news, no one would even think of this place. But down here, things look different. Down here, our spirits are bright and our dreams are vivid. And if given a chance, that's what the world would see.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in with us on Community Uplift. Now it's time to shift gears, because so much of today's news reports about our youth revolve around crime and violence. It's easy for the good news to go unnoticed. Well, Gamma Pi is on some good news. And in our next segment, we have 3 outstanding students from Charles Herbert Flowers High School here in Prince George's County who learned to build an actual robot. Jorge Ramirez, graduate, and the robotics build team captain, Taylor Brooks, electrical engineering officer, and a rising senior, and Micah Duckett, the chief officer who graduated this year. Welcome to the show. Why don't you start out by Jorge, Micah, and Taylor telling us a little bit about yourselves?
Well, for starters, I just graduated high school, and I plan on going for a degree in physics at the University of Maryland, College Park.
I just graduated high school as well. I plan on attending Morgan State University in a program that'll give me a degree in music education.
Well, I'm still in high school. I'm a rising senior, and I plan on continuing building robots and staying in the program that actually helped to build this robot.
Where did the idea to build a robot come from?
Oh, well, there is a team and that actually builds the FRC robots. Basically, FRC is called First Robotics Challenge. So we are entered into this competition, which allows us to build a robot specified for the competition that we are, or challenge that we are assigned to. So that's where this one comes in.
So how did you accomplish this? How did you even plan this? Can you kind of explain to us the step-by-step process to get to where we are today?
So for starters, our robotics team is kind of a tradition at Charles Herbert Flowers, where the seniors educate the younger underclassmen to, kind of learn how to do the robot, and it's something that the seniors take on every year with help from the underclassmen. So as for specifically this robot, we began the year, we got our challenge in January, and for the first couple weeks we spent building blueprints and figuring out ideas for how to tackle the specific challenge we were given. And you can ultimately see we had a robot that collected balls in the top portion of the robot and collected gears in the back portion, and we were able to successfully complete all of the challenges that were presented to us. And we finished we peaked 3rd place, finished 8th place, and then we went on to the quarterfinals.
Well, I have to tell you, this is quite a piece of machine here. Can you give us a demonstration on how it actually works?
Sure. So for starters, this piece right here, the flat area, is where we collect 3-inch diameter balls made of plastic. We held up to 30 in this top portion here, which allowed us to input it in the boiler that was given to us in the challenge. This front portion right here is dedicated to climbing the rope, and it works by having 2 of these motors rotate and pretty much just go up the rope. And then finally, we have this back portion that holds gears that you can see slide in here, given to the robot by one of the players off field. And that gear is deposited by going up to one of the walls and having another player pull it out and collect and score points for that. As for the robot's interior, you can see it's a big mess of wires, but it's essentially just a lot of motor controllers that take code from the computer to input it into the motors and tell them what to do. There's 6 of them. 4 of them are dedicated to the wheels, and 2 of them are dedicated to the door that holds the balls and the rope climbing mechanism. And then, of course, there's lots of safety features, like there's a switch off, there's a robot status light that lets us know if our robot's working or not, and lots of other things like the battery holder and the modem and switch that allowed us to have several Ethernet connections inside the robots.
How much did it cost to build this machine?
So our sponsorship, the competition that organizes this, gives us a kit for $4,000. That's the funds are accumulated through our team's fundraising and through our sponsors. So that's pretty much what it is, $4,000 plus a myriad of several pieces of scrap metal. You can see all this metal and bolts and things are just things that we picked up from our engineering class.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to a demonstration. Go ahead and
so we have
see what it does.
Sorry. We have 2 controls over here. The way it works is that we have 1 controller on the left axis and 1 controller on the right axis. So with good piloting, we can move the robot like this. And so what we're here to demonstrate is that by careful piloting, we can grab onto it and actually climb up the ladder. So it's a little bit rusty, as you can tell. We haven't operated in a while, but at the competition, it definitely made it all the way up the, I think it was 4-foot climbing rope.
Yeah.
So it definitely performed well enough to make it to the quarterfinals.
Wow. That's incredible. So here is what I'd like to understand. When you talked about your sponsors, how much effort went into securing those funds? As you talked about your fundraiser, what did you actually do in terms of your fundraising? What did you do?
So for our fundraising, one of our coaches, we have several coaches, but the one that's most intertwined with the funding, she, because of issues that we had with our school funding, was a little bit late, so she came out of it with her own pocket and was later reimbursed by the school. But that allowed us to get on track because we were about a week or 2 late with our kit. So with her generous donation, we managed to get building done, or begun, I should say, in early January.
Are you all interested in becoming engineers?
Me personally, no. I plan on becoming a music educator after graduating from college.
Okay.
I do. Yeah.
Taylor said, I do. What about you, Jorge?
Engineering, I like it, but I think I want to do more physics and then, maybe do some engineering with my physics.
So how is this robot actually powered? What do you use to power it?
So on the inside of the robot, there is a non-spillable sulfuric acid battery, which outputs a maximum of 13 volts. And the average current that we get is about 11 to 12 volts.
Okay. All right.
The battery goes straight to the power distribution unit, which we wired ourselves, go to all the motors and things to make sure that the power is distributed evenly.
So what's next is, in terms of the use of this robot, what will you all be doing with it going forward?
Ms. White plans on keeping the robot. This most recent team that we took to the FRC competition was our best performing team in the past couple years. So she plans on keeping this robot around to show the future students who plan on coming into the FRC club. She plans on showing them what's possible for us to make. And that's how she plans on getting the students geared up to create something even better than this robot, so that we would be able to even go to regionals next year. But the next plan would be to train the rising seniors like Taylor over here in teaching the future students, the sophomores and freshmen, into building these robots.
Well, you all have done a phenomenal job, and I tell you, I've never been into robots, but this is quite a machine, and you all have done an outstanding job. Where did you place overall in the competition, by the way?
So the way it works, there's a qualifier match. So once all the qualifier matches go through, then the places are official. So we peaked at 3rd place, and then we dropped to 8th place, which is enough to get us to qualify for the matches that day.
Okay. Well, we certainly are grateful for the gifts and the talents that you all have displayed, and this is an outstanding piece of equipment. Don't go away, because we will be right back.
It's 3 p.m. For 50 million kids across America, school's out. And for a third of these kids, they're out on their own. Out with nowhere to go. Out with nothing to do. Out all afternoon when anything can happen. But every afternoon is a chance to change America's future. All you have to do is open the door. It's time to support the Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Welcome back to Community Uplift. Every year, the Gamma Pi Qs hold their annual talent hunt contest, a program that showcases the talent of the youth in Prince George's County. Well, this year's winner is here, Mackenzie Sherman. Welcome and thanks for being here, Mackenzie. Here's a question that I have to you and for you. What is it like participating in Gamma Pi's talent hunt competition? By the way, congratulations on your win this year.
It's really exciting competing. I like being in front of people, listening to me play. I like the feeling.
I understand that you won Gamma Pi's talent hunt, and as a result, you went away to the district competition in Rye, New York. What was that experience like?
It was pretty much the same experience. There was a lot more talent at the competition in New York, more people who were more advanced than the first competition. And there was a lot more competition, so it was kind of harder.
Was it nerve-wracking?
Yes.
It was. How did you compose yourself?
I was really calm.
You really? Outstanding. How did you get interested in music, and more specifically, classical music?
Well, when I was younger, I saw a piano, and asked my aunt if she could teach me a couple of songs, and ever since I've been in classes, and I just felt closer to classical music because I enjoyed listening to it. So I wanted to learn how to play songs.
Wow. It's pretty rare to have a young person interested in classical music. That's pretty phenomenal. How often do you practice?
I practice every day.
Really?
Yes.
How many hours a day?
Not that many hours, probably a couple, like 2 or 3 hours.
Okay. Do you play for any other groups, do you play outside of your practice time with anybody else or with any other group?
Yes, I play for my high school choir, Largo High School. Sometimes I play at my church during church services. I've played at nursing homes. I've played at competitions, just different, anywhere that would like me to play, I just go.
How long have you been playing?
Since I was 4.
Wow. So you're pretty skilled.
Yes.
Where do you plan on going to college?
I plan on attending Morgan State University.
What are you majoring in?
Music.
How did I know that you would be saying music? What do you plan to do with your music degree?
Well, after I graduate from college, I plan on getting my master's degree in music, and hopefully becoming a college professor so I could teach music, or opening my own business to teach private lessons.
Phenomenal. Well, I understand that you're going to be performing for us a piece. What are you going to perform for us today?
I'm going to be playing a couple of pieces. They're all classical songs by Beethoven, Chopin, just different songs all mixed together.
Okay. All right. Well, we're out of time, but I want to say thank you again to all of our guests today, to Taylor Brooks, Micah Duckett, Mackenzie Sherman, Anthony and Therese McAllister, and that's our show for today. Thank you for tuning in to Community Uplift. For more information about the show or Gamma Pi Qs, go to www.gammapi.org. Or Gamma Pi also is on Twitter at Gamma Pi Qs and on Facebook at Gamma Pi Chapter. The chapter's YouTube channel is Gamma Pi Chapter. Thank you again for watching. I'm Tony Lee, your host, and we'll see you again the next time on Community Uplift. Mackenzie, take us out with a beautiful piece of classical music.